Today we're going to talk about the power of planning. Anyone who knows me knows that nothing that I do without planning. I always spend a considerable amount of time making sure that I planned every step of what I am doing so I could execute it with immense efficiency. I plan also because the fundamental fact, it helps me to be very efficient with my time. It helps me to do things with a spirit of excellence. You cannot do things with a spirit of excellence if you do not plan. A lot of times what people do, people think by doing something and it's something good, that's good enough. It doesn't matter if I slap it together and that's it. But you see, what you put in is precisely what you'll get out. You cannot get an A in an exam if you're not studying or you're not making sure that you're learning the material. You cannot be a successful bodybuilder if you're not working out every day, eating right, sleeping right, and doing all the necessary things that you need to do to get there. You cannot be a successful Olympian or you cannot be a successful public speaker if you're not practicing your craft, if you're not going out there and increasing your skills, if you're not planning and working your plan. You have to make your plan and work that plan in order to get where you need to go in life. When you speak about planning, there is no more powerful thing than the 7 P's, which is a military adage. And I love that. I love the 7 P's, which the military uses. And it just simply states, prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. You see, you have to plan. You have to plan things. If you're going to have a large event, you need to make sure you start planning that way in advance, 6 months, 8 months in advance. And you need to calculate each step of the way and what you need to do in order to get what you need to be done and executed with a spirit of excellence. I'm a stickler for planning. Why? I remember learning in general economics back when I was doing my bachelor's degree in college. In economics, I've learned something called marginal utility. And excuse me for getting a little nerdish on you right now, but I'm going to give you the definition, the simple definition for marginal utility. Marginal utility is the added satisfaction a consumer gets from having one more unit of a good or service. So it's the added satisfaction a consumer gets from having one more unit of a goods or services. So that's why it's so important. Whenever you're putting together a sale, whenever you're putting together a project, it's very important that all your ducks are in a row. Because the fact is, when that person eats that first ice cream and you set 2 drops on that cone, that ice cream has to taste so great that that person will want to come back for seconds. That person will want to come back for thirds. That person will want to come back for fourths and fifths. And that's how you cause exponential growth. Because what you do it with such spirit of excellence that people will want to come back. You also want to do things with such spirit of excellence that people will want you to teach them how to do what you do. You see, if you're a bodybuilder, you want to make sure you take the time to learn about health. You want to make sure you take the time to learn about eating. You want to make sure you take the time to learn about the nutritive factors of everything, how the body works, how the body functions. Because you can become very good at that, what happens? Other people will come up alongside you and say, I like how you look. I like how you do things. Can you teach me how to do them? You cannot replicate or you cannot reproduce something that you're not doing with a spirit of excellence. If you're an excellent speaker, if you're an excellent communicator, and you're coaching and you're teaching other people, what happens, those people saw the giftedness in you, saw the qualities in you, and because of you planning, because of you preparing yourself, because of you sitting down and learning your craft, because of you switching out your hammer with an axe, you became very good at what you do. You say switching out and hammer with an axe. What are you talking about, Flavian? You see, if you could cut down a tree with a hammer, and it will probably take you about 30 days. But if you switch that hammer out with an axe, it'll probably take you about 30 minutes. So it's all in the matter of the tools that you use. So when you plan, you want to be an effective planner. You want to go out there and find someone who masters the art of planning, someone who knows how to ask the strategic questions that you need to ask in order to get where you need to go. A lot of times what people do, they don't, they like the responsibility, they like the accolade for having a position, they like the notion of saying, oh, look what I did, but they don't want to do the work to get what they need to get done. But you see, whenever you're planning to doing something or whenever you're committing to do something, you have to count the cost. Because every single thing, you will have to sacrifice something. Every single thing, you will have to sacrifice something. If you want to be an effective communicator, you're going to have to sacrifice time because you're going to have to read a lot. You're going to have to hone your craft. You're going to have to learn how to speak. You're going to have to learn how the human psychology, how people interact, how to analyze your audience and all of that. So therefore, there's a sacrifice that comes with that. When everybody else is having fun, you won't be able to have as much fun like how everybody is doing, because the fundamental fact is you have to take some time to hone your craft. If you want to be a bodybuilder, if you want to go out there and win competitions, you can't go around and party with all your buddies 24/7, 7 days a week. You have to learn to sleep. You're going to have to learn to eat. You're going to have to learn, first and foremost, is to build your mind, because 80% of your success lies between your two ears. Yes. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. It doesn't matter your craft. It doesn't matter what you're doing or what you're working towards. In your planning process, you have to realize that 80% of what you need to do is the conditioning of your mind. 80% of what you need to do is getting rid of stinky thinking. You see, your mind will always wimp out on you. Your mind will always tell you that is too heavy. Your mind will always tell you can't learn that. Your mind will always tell you that's too much reading. That your mind will always tell you that math problem is too hard. That your mind will always tell you you can't do that. You can't stand in front of people and speak. Your mind will always tell you you can't run that company. Your mind is always tell you you're not creative enough to create a masterpiece of an artwork. You're not creative enough to make a sculpture. You're not creative enough to do anything. You didn't come from the right family. You didn't come from the right side of the track. You come from a poor, impoverished nation. Who are you to think you can do it? Your mind will always tell you that. But you want to always sync your mind with what your Creator designed you to be. You're fearfully and you're wonderfully made in His image. You can do all things through your Creator who strengthens you. You can reach for the sky, and in the process, while you're reaching for the sky, you might touch a few stars. You see, you want to go out there and you want to realize that nothing is impossible. You want to realize that what you do today what others will not, so you can do tomorrow what others cannot. The sacrifices that you're making today will create your tomorrows. The sacrifices that you're making today will be instrumental in producing your tomorrows. So you ask yourself, how do I plan? First of all, you have to figure out what you want to do. Then, having figured out what you want to do, you count the cost of what you want to do. What are the steps? What are the things that I have to do daily that will lead me to what I want to do? What are the things that I have to do weekly that will lead me to what I want to do? What are the things that I need to do monthly that will lead me to the thing that I want to do? And you do those marching steps and you set those goals, and with each of the goals, you set action steps. Because you see, it doesn't matter what you're saying with your words. It doesn't matter what other people are saying. If you don't put yourself into action, it means absolutely nothing. So a plan without action is just that, written down on a piece of paper. Action is the key. Nothing happens without action. And a lot of times with action, what happens, you have to break old habits and you have to create new habits. And when you have to create new habits, then you have to build your self-confidence, because you're going to find that the one person that will tell you need to sleep in bed, stay in bed, you don't go to the gym, stay in bed, don't read, stay in bed, you don't have to go to class this morning, it's you. You are going to be fighting a battle with yourself. So therefore, you have to work on your mindset. And you have to surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with people who know how to plan. Surround yourself with people who know how to get things done. And be willing to be teachable. Be willing to be teachable. That means they'll advise you to do stuff that you don't like doing. You may not like waking up early in the morning. You may not like getting outside of your comfort zone. But in order to be great, you will have to get outside of your comfort zone. You will have to get out of that boat and start walking on water in faith. You will have to get out of that boat and start believing in yourself. You have to get out of that boat and start planning and executing your plan. You have to get out of that boat. And if you have something coming up, make sure that everything is in place so that it increases your level of marginal utility. So go out there and have an awesome growth day. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button below. Hit the subscribe button below. And when you hit the subscribe button, don't forget to select the bell, because by selecting the bell, it'll notify you whenever I add a future video. God bless you.